Hi everybody, it's Mary Claire and I'm back with my Friday favorites. Good morning everyone, and I'm excited for you to join me today. I've got a couple of things to talk about today, but they both center around something that I feel very strongly about. I really like supporting friends and acquaintances who are in small business. I understand. I was raised by entrepreneurs. I come from a long line of entrepreneurs on both sides of my family. My grandparents on my mom's side were the Landry family who started a small restaurant dynasty that was then bought out by a large conglomerate. But every person in my family at the time, my aunts, my uncles, my cousins, my great uncles, everyone had some type of business in the restaurant business. So I grew up on that side. On my dad's side, my grandfather owned a grocery store in their town, and so that's how people made their living, was through small business, and that's the ethos I grew up with. And my parents actually have been small business owners their whole life. My dad and mom owned their own restaurant for 25 years, and then from that, after we had a huge downturn in the economy back home, and they basically went bankrupt when I was in high school, which helped shape who I am today. They did a few odd jobs, did anything they could to meet the bills, and then they took a chance and invested in a small bed and breakfast in an old historical farmhouse in their hometown, and turned that into basically $1 million business, and sold it just a couple of years ago and have now retired. So when I see a friend or acquaintance in a small business, I just admire them so much. You know, I didn't choose that route for my main career. I work for a company, and I work for the university. It offers stability. I do love what I do, but I just come from that, long line of entrepreneurs. So, two entrepreneurs that I wanted to highlight today. One is, real quick, if y'all see me drinking out of these before, this is a company called Morton Mugs, Morton Mugs. Her name is Kayla Morton. She is this adorable lady who makes these all herself. This is a glitter dip that she does that stays on the bottom of this cup. They are so reasonable, and she can customize it for anything that you want. On this page is a link to her site, and I just love it. The little sparkles make me so happy. I had these done for my team with the Ever logo on it, of course, and then I wake up glowing, but coffee helps. So if you like this, it's really a fabulous gift. Check out her website, and she custom makes them absolutely anything you want, any color glitter, any mug. She made some that are black mug with gold. I was thinking New Orleans Saints. Looks really good. I've got some Saints fans out there, so if you see it, go for it. They run $12 to $15 a mug, so a great Valentine's Day gift, a great teacher gift, a great, just a personalized gift. Super, super fabulous. So Morton Mugs, Kayla Morton, check her out. She's fabulous. Let me get a sip. Hang on. So last night, I had a very long conversation with a good friend that I've known for years. Catherine Espana is a pediatrician in Houston, and I met her when she was a resident here at UTMB, and I was young faculty. I'm still young, by the way. I was very young faculty. And her husband was one of my residents, and they were pregnant with their first child. They're both had met in Venezuela. She is Venezuelan, and then came to the U.S. She did high school here where her mom was working here as a Venezuelan national. And she did med school and everything, college in the U.S., so she's fantastic. She was a huge resource to me when we moved to Venezuela and helped kind of guide me through some of the cultural issues. So the minute she graduated, I chose her as my pediatrician and drove my kids up to Friendswood, about 40 miles away from here, to see her because I just thought she was so wonderful. She left that practice when her husband finished his fellowship, and they moved closer into Houston, and she went to work for another large university. And she did that for a few years. And after a while, she was seeing, I think she said 40 patients a day, and it was just insane. And there were so many administrative rules, and so it's nothing to do with patient care or making children healthier, but everything to do with seeing more patients and making more money for the institution. and she just kind of got sick of it and, thought to herself, what else can I do? What else is out there? So she looked into a concierge practice. And so for those of you who don't know what a concierge practice is, it's really the going back to the old-fashioned way of doing medicine. So she only has a certain number of patients that are part of her, global patient group, and her goal, I believe, is about 300. And everyone pays a fee. She doesn't take any insurance. Okay, no insurance. That's up to you. You pay a fee, and you have 1 hour, well kid checkups. You have 30 full minutes with her for a quick problem visit. I mean, when's the last time your doctor spent more than 4 minutes with you face-to-face time talking? She spends an hour with a new patient. You have her cell phone number. You have her personal cell phone. You have her personal email address. You have unfettered access to her for whatever you need. She works with another partner, and so they cover for each other when they're out of town, when they take their regular vacations. But if she's in town, you don't talk to the other doctor. You talk to her. You don't talk to the staff. You go straight to the doctor. That is the way medicine used to be practiced. And the fee is actually much, much less than I imagined it would be. And so the name of her practice is Houston Concierge Pediatrics of Houston. Concierge Pediatrics of Houston. I will put the website down on here. I thought it was such a great idea. She has such an amazing quality of life. She builds her schedule around her life, so that now she's super involved in what the kids are doing at school. I said, is your phone ringing all the time? Are you getting paged in the middle of the night? She goes, no. Most of the people who choose to do this are very conscientious, and they're not calling me unless it's an absolute emergency. She said they may text me, and they know I'll get back to them the first thing in the morning, or send an email. She has a very open conversation with them about expectations and emergencies and what would be a reasonable phone call and whatnot. But and she is so happy. She is so happy. When is the last time you saw a doctor that was happy and loved their job and was just thrilled with what they could do and answered all of your questions and handed you their cell phone number and handed you their email, and you just felt so excited and so trustworthy? So I think it is a beautiful concept. She is still taking new patients. You actually go in and meet with her for free to talk about what your expectations are and see if this is something you're interested in. And I tell you, it is much less money than you would expect. Now think about what you pay in your deductibles, what you pay in your copays, what you are actually paying out of pocket. And I bet, especially with the way insurance is going now, you are paying less to see her for that service than you would be going to a traditional doctor's office. So just something to think about. The Concierge Pediatrics of Houston, absolutely amazing. Catherine Espana is her name. I was just so excited to talk to her last night. Got a few little balls rolling in my head. I'm like, that sounds kind of wonderful. I wonder if other practices could do this. I know that there are practices in Dallas that do it. I know that there are a few in Houston that are doing it. And it was just something I just thought, this is such a wonderful service that she is offering to patients. And God, when my kids were babies, I would have done that in a heartbeat, in an absolute heartbeat. Without having to go and be put on hold and talk to the phone tree, and then somebody takes a message, and then the nurse calls you back, but she's got to talk to the doctor, and then you have to wait for them to call you back in a couple of days. Or you can just text your doctor and be like, hey, can my baby take this? She tells me that she'll get a text of a patient who's at Walgreens and has 2 brands of Tylenol up. Is the generic one okay for me to take? And she in a quick second can be like, yeah, it's fine. So pretty amazing service. It is an out-of-pocket expense. She doesn't have to pay the legions of people to do the insurance billing, so her overhead is less, so she doesn't have to charge as much. You can't imagine in a traditional practice, I think, when you look at one physician and how many people with insurance, when you accept insurance, how many people it takes to make that doctor go to bill and file and refile and refile and refile and fight the insurance companies. I want to say it's about 9 people to 1 physician. So you have 9 people on your staff, and that's your medical assistant, your nurse, your receptionist, and then probably 4 or 5 people in the back office just doing insurance billing. So she said her overhead is very, very low. They have a small office. They don't need much space. You know, she only has a couple of exam rooms. And instead of seeing 40 patients a day, she's seeing a fraction of that. And the patients are thrilled, and she is much, much happier. So just a thought, look into a concierge practice near you. If you're willing to go to Houston, she's fantastic. I used her for years and years and years, and I highly, highly, highly recommend it. Okay, so Morton mugs for these fabulous mugs, and the concierge pediatric practice in Houston. Okay, guys, take care.